your CIGTV News Update, I'm Shanda Gallego in for Donna Bush. In our top story, CIGTV continues its conversations with government agencies who would lead the response and recovery effort if the Cayman Islands were to be threatened by a hurricane. With some 3 months to go in what has suddenly become a very active hurricane season, we spoke to Director of Hazard Management Cayman Islands, Daniel Coleman, about the state of the Cayman Islands readiness.
And the Cayman Islands government is very well prepared these days. Obviously, since Ivan, we've come a long way. Before Ivan, we had the National Hurricane Committee, which was an excellent committee. But again, that was purely for hurricanes. The Hazard Management Office is an operation office around the year to deal with all sorts of disasters, a multi-hazard approach. We have, obviously preparedness, planning, recovery, response, mitigation, and so forth. So we really are well prepared. We do quarterly exercises with the whole National Emergency Operations Centre. We also do drills for the staff every quarter. We're setting up our equipment every month, making sure that all our laptops work, all our sat phones work, our radios work. Our shelter management boxes are obviously on top of, kept really, really well and maintained. We're doing a lot of shelter management training. We did that in May. We're also doing orientations now. We are obviously spending a lot of time invested in the shelters as well, making sure that the actual shelter management teams are comfortable with that. So we're doing orientations this month with the shelter management team. So there's a lot of structure in place that again makes the Cayman Islands government and the national response to any emergency a robust system.
Ms. Coleman goes on to explain how the local emergency response structure functions.
We're doing a lot of work right now, again, with training our own responders. Under the National Emergency Operations Centre, we have 17 emergency support teams, which fall under 4 different cluster groups. That's human concerns, infrastructure, resource support, and emergency response. That's a lot of people to be coordinating. There's about 75 people with the policy group and the executive. So as I say, it's a lot of meetings about how we make sure our plans are ready, a lot of drills and to make sure that we are ready to go at any eventuality. We're also doing a lot of training again with the first responders, such as incident command systems training we've been doing this week. We've got another mass casualty management one that we'll be doing before the end of the year. And again, that's with all key responders to make sure we're working together. Again, this whole response of any magnitude that would require multi-agency has to be done in a coordinated way that, again, everyone understands their roles and can work together in an efficient manner.
Hazard Management are also very proud of the teams that they have developed on the ground in most districts.
The CERT teams and the community emergency response teams are a really valuable asset to our response. They're the first on the ground in their communities. They know their communities much better than we do. So we rely heavily on them for things like search and rescue. There's a lot of parts they can play, helping with food distribution or elderly people, or helping people in their community put up shutters, for example. There's a lot the CERT can do to help the national structure. So we rely, as I say, very heavily on the CERT. We've just done a graduation in Savannah for a new CERT team, and we're very happy with that team. Again, we're trying to get CERT teams around the island. We do have one planned in Little Cayman at the end of this year, but we're always looking for new CERT teams. And if your community does want a CERT team, please contact us at Hazard Management, because again, that's what we want. We want to make sure that the island is fully covered with CERT teams to make sure our response is very efficient.
HMCI is also part of local outreach to the Bahamas in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian.
Until we can see, the damage and needs assessment, what they need, we don't really know what's the best approach for the Cayman Islands government. We've got several things in place right now. Again, we've offered a helicopter with the police, obviously police services fully equipped, also a medical crew and services, supplies such as medical supplies, as well as our own sanitation kits, tarpaulins and so forth. But again, until we really understand from NEMA, which is the National Emergency Management Agency in the Bahamas, and SEDEMA, who's working very closely with NEMA, until we understand what they really need from their damage assessments, we obviously haven't finalised what we will be sending, what we will be doing with that, with our response to Dorian.
The director noted that Dorian also offers lessons for the region and for the Cayman Islands.
We're getting to the peak of the hurricane season. Storms at this time of year are much quicker, or can be much quicker. In the early season, we have generally more lead time.
Of course, there's no time like the present to complete your readiness plans.
We've just seen what's happened in the Bahamas. Now that's, again, our heart goes out to everyone in the Bahamas, because it is a really difficult situation there. But we want people to be ready at all times for every eventuality. Again, we're in the hurricane season, but at the end of the day, it could be any sudden onset event as well. So we're asking people to be ready, to have their emergency supplies kit ready, to have their stocks and have their plans in place. It's a really, really critical aspect of their planning phase.
To find out more about how to get your preparations on track, check out Hazard Management Cayman Islands website. That is caymanprepare.gov.ky, Facebook or Twitter pages.
Good evening. With CIGTV's weather segment, I'll be your narrator tonight, Kara Powry, Chief Meteorologist with the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. Let's start by taking a look at the surface chart. Essentially, the key features are Hurricane Dorian, located 45 miles south-southeast of Myrtle Beach, and with winds of 105 miles per hour. The forecast expects to take Dorian towards the northeast, reaching Newfoundland near Sunday. In the central Atlantic, basically, we have Tropical Storm Gabrielle, and that's to transition into the central Atlantic, posing no threat to any landfall. Closer to home, we have a tropical wave that will enter the Caribbean over the next day, and one slightly closer inside the southern part of the Caribbean. Looking closer to home, looking at our satellite picture, we have Dorian, just south of South Carolina, and you see some clouds crossing Jamaica and over our area. That's a upper level trough that will move into our area tonight, increasing the likelihood of showers and thunder overnight into tomorrow. Those same clouds are now starting to be seen on our radar to the south, and they're slowly moving towards the northwest. Again, indicating that showers and thunder most likely overnight into tomorrow morning. Sunset, today we expect sunset to be around 6:31, sunrise tomorrow at 6:42 a.m. Tonight, the next high would be at 9:44 p.m. and the next low tide will be at 3:48 a.m. Looking into our 5-day forecast, as we said, we expect an increase of showers and possible thunder overnight. Winds should remain light for the next 3 days, but come from Saturday evening onwards, as the tropical wave moves into our area, we have a slight increase in cloudiness, showers, and more thunder likely, with the winds picking up a little bit, becoming moderate out of the southeast direction, and hence our seas will also increase slightly to wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
That is your latest news. As always, if you missed today's news update, you can get all the details on our Facebook and YouTube pages. And of course, do not forget to tune into Radio Cayman's For the Record and Talk Today shows. I'm Shanda Gallego. Thanks for watching.
The Esterly-Tibbetts Highway 3-lane roundabout is ready for drivers. It's time to make sure you know how to use it. First, know which exit you need to take. Pay attention to lane arrows and signs. Make sure you use your signal to change lanes or exit the roundabout. To turn left, you always approach in the left-hand lane and indicate left. To drive straight ahead, you need to be looking out for signs and road markings indicating which lane to use. Get in one of the lanes marked with a straight-through arrow. If turning right, you must use the right-hand lane and indicate accordingly. To use the roundabout safely, remember these 3 tips. Know your exit, pick your lane, and signal to make your turn.
Did you know that planning permission is required for a shed? Did you know you should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required?